Bucknutters, welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Friday, February 16th, 2018. I am Dave Biddle, very happy to be joined by Jonah Booker. J-Book, just a real bad showing for Ohio State's basketball team last night. There's no way around it. They didn't just get beat by Penn State. They got shellacked in a game that we all knew was going to be a tough game, and Penn State just took it to them and just didn't stop. Really a tough one to swallow last night.
Yeah, it's for some reason Penn State has Ohio State's number this year, and I'm not sure what it is about it. I know Las Vegas had Penn State as the favorite going into this game. They was a team fighting to get into the tournament, a potential bubble team. I have to wonder, Dave, is Ohio State's legs getting a little tired? I know these guys have been playing above their potential all season long, coming back from multiple double-digit deficits, and it finally caught up to them last night. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back. It also helps that Purdue lost to Wisconsin. So the Ohio State, they still have, the road ahead of them, but it was just an awful showing against Penn State.
Yeah, Michigan on Sunday at Michigan. Obviously, Ohio State beat Michigan earlier this season, 70-61. Buckeyes got down by 20 in that game, and that was kind of a theme of this season. I was even thinking last night when they got down by Penn State, well, they got them right where they want them, because this is what Ohio State does. They get down early, then they come back and they just have a deluge of points, and that was not the case last night. But against Michigan last time, they got down by 20, came back, beat them by 9. Really took it to them after a slow start. But this is going to be a tough game in Ann Arbor on Sunday. That little Chrysler Center, the former Chrysler Arena, not a real good venue, but I tell you what, the students are right on top of you. Michigan's kind of a soft team, J-Book. They're not a team that's going to hurt you on the boards, but if they get hot shooting, they're dangerous. They're not as athletic as Penn State, but this is going to be a tough game. Just your thoughts on the Buckeyes, how they might rebound on Sunday.
Yep, I'm a little worried about it. I mean, back-to-back, road games. I know Michigan had us down big time the last time, and the Buckeyes came storming back. So Michigan's definitely going to be looking for some revenge there. Right now in Ohio State, they're going to have to fight and claw to stay at top of the Big Ten there. So the back's against the wall, for say. So let's see how they respond. I think this team, they will bounce back. They've shown incredible heart in the entire season, tremendous resilience. So this could just be a game here to where they were looking at Penn State as a team that may not give them much of a challenge per se, but Penn State played incredibly well. But this Michigan game, it's going to be an absolute battle. I expect this Ohio State team, they're not a team that's just going to roll into an arena and blow somebody out. They're going to be a team that usually fights and scratches down to the last couple minutes. So when you're that type of ball club, anything can happen. You can lose by 20 like you saw, or you can be down by 20, come back, or you can win a close one. I just don't see this basketball team necessarily blowing teams out. So I think it's going to be a hard-fought game.
Switching gears to football, thankfully, especially after last night's basketball game. As you posted on Bucknuts very succinctly, Gene Smith opened up the pocketbook and then some for the assistant coaches. And we knew this was inevitable, but, Ohio State last year, J-Book, I think I read they were 13th in the country as far as average assistant coach salaries, and you think of Ohio State, like 13th is kind of second tier as far as like the major programs out there. Ohio State wasn't going to be second tier for long, and now they're double dipping into the $1 million assistant coach business. Greg Schiano is going to make $1.5 million this coming season. Just a one-year contract. I'm sure he wants to move on to be a head coach, as we all know. What I find really interesting, of course, Ryan Day making $1 million a year, but a 3-year contract there. Kevin Wilson does get a bump of salary up to $800,000. Alex Grinch comes in $800,000. Larry Johnson is next, getting a bump up to $750,000, up from $575,000 the previous year. Tony Alford, the next highest paid coach on the staff, $525,000. I mean, I like this. I know people are going to say, like, assistant coaches, some people might say, probably not diehard Ohio State fans, some people might say, like, this is too exorbitant for assistant coaches, but I like it. Just your thoughts on all this, J-Book.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It was just a matter of time before Ohio State gets into that $1 million club as far as their assistant coaches. And you mentioned 13th, and you have to look at Ohio State. They're basically printing money over there. Look at the revenue that was generated from alcohol sales this past season. The football program is generating millions of dollars. There's no excuse for this program not to be at minimum in the top 5 as far as coaches' salaries. You need to make Ohio State a destination job to where there shouldn't be a reason why a coach makes a lateral move because of money. If a coach leaves Ohio State, he either needs to retire, he needs to be fired, or he needs to have some form of promotion as far as being a head coach or a position coach, moving on to be a coordinator somewhere. So it's good to see Gene Smith open up that checkbook, and I know we've had numerous times on the boarding house that Urban had been pushing big time for his guys to get paid. I know he could easily be making Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban type of money, but he wanted to be the ultimate team guy and make sure that his coaches are taken care of. He's made his money, so it's good to see those guys finally eating. And just the structure of the money, Dave, really piques my interest. For example, Billy Davis, a guy who his unit vastly underperformed last season, he didn't receive a raise. Zach Smith, who's been on the staff the longest, he's yet to crack the 500,000 mark. So if you look at some of what other wide receiver coaches around the country is making, he's pretty low down there. So I thought that was very interesting, and just seeing Coach Day getting that 3-year contract to me is huge, especially when you look at him being offered a Mississippi State job and UCLA going after him and Tennessee Titans, and for him to sign a 3-year contract is big time for me.
Yeah, that's what I want to touch on to close the show with. I mean, Kevin Wilson and Ryan Day, they seem to work well together. Everything, when we talked to the guys last year, and including when we talked to Coach Day and Coach Wilson and Coach Meyer, they seem to work really well together. But you're Kevin Wilson, you're known as a hotshot offensive coordinator. You get the job at Indiana as a head coach, and you do a good job there. You come to Ohio State, everybody's excited. I think I was leading the charge of people that were excited about Kevin Wilson coming. Now Ryan Day is now, even though they didn't demote Kevin Wilson as far as like his title or anything, Ryan Day got the pay raise. They both got a pay raise, but Ryan Day got an exponential pay raise from $400,000 to $1 million. Kevin Wilson got from $650,000 to $800,000, like I said. Ryan Day gets the title change up to offensive coordinator. Kevin Wilson still has the title of offensive coordinator, but looks like Ryan Day is the shot caller. Just your thoughts. You played college football. Just your thoughts on the dynamic there with Ryan Day and Kevin Wilson working together.
Yeah, it's a tandem there that seemed to be working extremely well together, but make no mistakes about it. Ryan Day was promoted over Kevin Wilson. You could look at it as a situation where Kevin Wilson, he's been in the game for so long that he's in a position to where he could be a mentor to Ryan Day, where he's pretty much handing off the baton to say, hey, go get him, young fella. You're the next one up to be the hot shot commodity as far as a head coach. I've been a head coach. I enjoy being at Ohio State, but it's your time to shine now. So I kind of look at it as that way because, like you said, there doesn't seem to be any type of animosity. All three guys with Meyer and Day and Wilson, they get along extremely well. I just think it's going to be a situation where they're grooming Ryan Day to be the next Tom Herman as far as the hot name. I know some people have thrown out on our board that they're grooming Day to potentially take over for Urban Meyer, but I can't see that because I don't see Urban Meyer. I see Urban being there way past the 3-year contract, especially with him signing his extension. But I think it's good for Ohio State. It gives the program consistency, especially the young quarterbacks. They have a guy that's going to be there for a while to help mentor them. So and the thing is, if you look at the quarterback offers that are going out, you're starting to see a gradual shift from the heavy offers going to dual threat to where looking at more pro-style quarterbacks who can throw those balls through the tight windows and make those accurate throws downfield. And I think that is a byproduct of Ryan Day pushing more for an actual pocket quarterback who's going to be able to make all the throws in this offense.
Great insights, as always, from Jonah Booker. Thank you very much, J-Book. You can read his column every week on Bucknuts, of course. It is outside Columbus. You can catch him on Twitter at JBook37. Thank you very much to Jonah Booker, and thanks to all listeners out there for tuning in to the show. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Let's hear that Buckeye swag, best in band in the land.